What was the greatest act of insubordination that actually saved lives? Iraq, 2005. I was a combat medic attached to an infantry company. Our platoon leader was a textbook lieutenant, West Point, top of his class, never questioned orders. Problem was, he'd never been in combat until our deployment. 3 months in, we're patrolling a village south of Mosul. Intel says it's clear of hostiles, just a routine hearts and minds mission. Distribute supplies, meet with elders, standard coin ops. But something feels off the moment we enter the village. Too quiet. No children playing. Market empty midday. Staff Sergeant Riley notices it too. 16 years in, 3 combat tours. The kind of NCO who can smell an ambush. He pulls the lieutenant aside, suggests we withdraw and call for aerial reconnaissance. Lieutenant refuses. Intel says it's clear. We have orders. Riley pushes back. Lieutenant pulls rank. Stick to the mission, Sergeant. We continue deeper into the village. Riley gets more agitated. Starts directing fire teams to defensive positions against the lieutenant's movement plan. Lieutenant's fuming but doesn't want to create a scene in front of the men. Then Riley spots something. Slight movement in a window. Flash of metal. He tackles the lieutenant just as the first shots ring out. Full-scale ambush. At least 30 insurgents. Well-planned kill zone. Lieutenant tries to direct us straight through the main street. Exactly where they want us. Riley countermands him. Orders the platoon to fall back to a drainage ditch he'd noticed earlier. Lieutenant's screaming, "That's not the rally point." Riley ignores him. Gets on the radio, calls in our situation directly to company command, bypassing the lieutenant completely. Insubordination that could end his career. Directs fire teams to create covering fire. Sets up a casualty collection point in an abandoned building. We're pinned down for 3 hours. Riley coordinates everything. Ammo distribution, casualty treatment, communications. Lieutenant eventually stops fighting him and just sits there, looking shell-shocked. When QRF finally arrives, we've suffered only minor injuries. Riley's defensive positioning saved the entire platoon. Back at base, the lieutenant files insubordination charges. Court-martial seems certain. Then the captain calls Riley to his office. We're all sure Riley's career is over. Instead, Riley walks out with a Bronze Star recommendation. Turns out company command had intercepted communications confirming the ambush right after we entered the village. They'd been trying to warn us, but the lieutenant had switched radio frequencies without authorization to maintain communications security. The captain tore up the lieutenant's complaint. Told him, "You're alive because Staff Sergeant Riley disobeyed your dumbass orders." Lieutenant was transferred to headquarters within a week. Riley got promoted to Sergeant First Class. Eventually retired as a Command Sergeant Major. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no to a direct order. Sometimes saving lives means risking your career. Years later at Riley's retirement ceremony, that same lieutenant showed up, now a major, ironically serving as an instructor at Officer Candidate School. He stood up during the speeches and said, "Everything I teach my cadets about effective leadership, I learned from watching Sergeant Riley ignore everything I told him to do." The room erupted in laughter. Even Riley cracked a smile. That's the day I understood what leadership really means in the military. It's not about rank or following orders blindly. It's about having the courage to do what's right, even when it costs you everything. Riley received a standing ovation that day, not for his medals or his rank, but for that one moment of perfect insubordination that saved 30 lives, including mine.